Good morning. This is the video for Ringeck's 4 slices, which is a defensive reaction where we're putting our blade on our opponent's arms as they're transitioning between cuts. It's also daylight savings time day, so if you're feeling as much like a zombie as me this morning, we'll just try to get through this together. So I'm going to read the Zettel and gloss and then how I practice them on the Pel. Here note the text and gloss regarding the 4 slices. 4 are the slices with 2 below and 2 above. So not a lot of instruction there, but Ringeck gives us a good explanation. Perform the slices like this. When someone binds to your sword against your left side and strikes around from the sword with the lateral or otherwise to your right side, jump with the left foot away from the hew onto his right side and fall with the long edge above over both arms. Perform this to both sides. Okay? And then he goes on to say, there are 4 slices, perform the first like this. When he runs into you and rises high with the arms and wants to overpower you above with strength against your left side, turn your sword and fall with the long edge with crossed arms under his crossguard into his arms and press upward with the slice as is pictured near, or if he runs into you against your right side, fall with the short edge into his arms and press upward as before. Another slice. When you bind strongly onto his sword with a hew or otherwise, if he lets the sword snap off from yours and strikes above to your head, turn your sword with the crossguard in front of your head and slice below through his arm, and with the slice plant the point below to his chest. So there's a lot of examples, but it's actually pretty simple. So the first one is that we have bound and the opponent is releasing and striking to this side. So all we're going to do is when we feel this release, we're going to actually chase, instead of their blade, we're going to chase their arms. We're going to come down onto the arms. And so the left foot is going to facilitate this. We're not reaching across in a way that compromises our structure, because this kind of becomes a little bit of a structure versus structure game. But if I let my left foot gate out, you see I'm able to turn my center line. This is going to give me good structure. So the opponent is hit, and as they're coming around, we're looking to target that lead forearm. And we're here, we're going to slice down onto the arms. So that's the first example, is just using our blade onto their arms as they're transitioning from an onside to an offside attack. The next 2 are reactive slices if somebody picks up to strike. And so now we're looking to get our blade across, ideally, both forearms. And so what we're told is if they go to one side, we use the long edge. If they go to the other side, we use the short edge. So if we have bound and the opponent pulls up and to our left, so they're going to hit again with an onside, I'm going to cross arms and I'm going to use my lead edge to their forearms. If they pick up and come around to this side, I'm going to step out and use my back edge. So I'm going to have uncrossed arms to hit those same forearms. So the way I practice this on the Pel is the first one, I'll hit the Pel and then I'm picturing them coming around, so I'll actually turn and try to hit along the front of my Pel, because again, this time I'm actually going for the forearms in that transition. So from here, straight down. And I want to be pretty tight because I want to get a good amount. And I do want as much as I can to get the strong, because if I'm out here on the weak, I'm not going to have enough leverage to actually stop their cut. So maybe I would slice their arms up, but I'm still going to get beamed in the head. And in a tournament setting, I'm not going to be able to stop the opponent with a blunt fetter without hitting me in the head, because pain compliance is not really going to be a thing in a tournament setting with blunt swords. So the first one is bind straight down, my left foot floating out to give me that good structure. The next 2 are going to be bind, and then if they pick up to my left, I'm going to fade out a little bit, crossed arm, and I like to aim for my high target on the Pel. I want to be at least mid-blade, strong is even a little bit better, with crossed arms to that side. Or I'll bind, if they're going to the other side, I'll step in, and now I'm back edge. And again, I want to be mid-blade or ideally even a little bit higher up on the blade for good structure. So just to kind of recap those 3, because I think it's a pretty similar action. So we've got 1, chase the forearms when they're cutting around. 2, chase the underarms when they're raising up to one side. And then 3, chase under those forearms when they're rising up to the other side. The last one sounds a little complicated, but it really isn't. So the last one is if we've bound and the opponent has essentially hit and they're looking to maybe snap around. So we've kind of maybe pushed through a little hard and they're looking to release that pressure and snap around. We're going to turn the crossguard in front of our face, and again we're going to step out, so we're again getting under them. So if I'm the bad guy, I bound, the person's pushing and I'm looking to snap around. And so the counter to this one is I'm going to turn my crossguard in front of my face, get my edge on their forearms, and so this is under that lead forearm, and then I'm going to stab them in the face. So the way I can practice this one is I can come here, turn, and then make sure I can get the point in again. So bind, turn, point in the face. So we're using a pretty similar motion. The difference would be on that first one when they pull up and we use the cross-armed kind of off to the side under the arms. Now, because we've gotten a little bit lower, we're going to use the cross-armed true edge in a way that aligns our point with their chest. And so that's really the only difference. So I think this is a good set of techniques. Ringeck explains them in a particular way, so I really chose to focus on his explanations. I hope that this was helpful and that it's kind of easy to picture. I think this is one of those things that once you do it with a partner, it's pretty intuitive how you're going to end up in those positions. So if you're on a pedal because you're still in lockdown somewhere, kind of play with it that way. And then if you do have the opportunity to practice these 4 slices with a partner, go ahead and give that a shot. And if you have any questions, send me a message and we'll see what we get next week.